Hey, happy Friday. This week we learned that Microsoft just keeps winning, Netflix decided to cut its cheapest subscription tiers because it just wants to show you ads instead, and all the heat waves are apparently killing our phones and our cars. Welcome to the Friday Checkout. This video was sponsored by Brilliant. Okay, this week we start the brief with Framework's new 16-inch laptop that is now available for pre-order from their website. The machine has the latest AMD Ryzen 7400 series CPU, and it starts at $1,700 pre-built with an OS bundled in, or $1,400 with the DIY edition. That is actually much better than I expected. Apple this week threatened to remove FaceTime and iMessage from the UK rather than weaken security under a proposed online safety bill that the country wants to pass. WhatsApp and Signal are fighting this deal very publicly as well, so good luck with that, UK government. Next, TSMC announced that it will delay production at its Arizona plant to 2025 due to 1. A shortage of skilled workers in the US, and 2. The fact that demand for anything other than AI chips is in a free fall right now, so the company saw its profits drop for the first time in 4 years. Goodbye chip boom, I guess. And in more bad news for businesses, Van Moof officially went bankrupt, at least in the Netherlands, and is now desperately looking for someone to buy it to keep the lights on. That's painful, and here's a reminder again to back up your Bluetooth encryption key if you own one. Next, Meta released Llama 2 to the public, which is a sort of open source large language model that, just like ChatGPT, can be used to generate text, translate languages, and answer questions. The big deal here is that this model is supposed to be somewhat open source to others, so they are invited to poke around in it and to customize it, and Meta is partnering with Qualcomm to run it on a Snapdragon chip in the future, so it could just run locally on your phone, theoretically. Also this week, after Microsoft won its fight against the FTC, at least for now, Sony threw in the towel and finally signed its 10-year deal that Microsoft has been offering since the beginning to keep Call of Duty on the PlayStation. Fun fact, Microsoft originally offered to guarantee all the Activision titles on the PlayStation before the lawsuit, but then after the lawsuit they decided to just limit it only to Call of Duty, which I suppose is a kind of revenge. Sony should have signed when they had a choice. An unexpected announcement this week came from a company called Sub2R that announced that they will be making a webcam with a gigantic micro 4/3 image sensor and the ability to swap lenses. That is kind of bonkers. Fun fact, those are the exact same specs that I have on my Panasonic GH6 that I'm filming this on, so theoretically with that webcam you could look as beautiful as me on your Zoom calls. Think about that. Next, Elon Musk was on a Tesla earnings call this week and said that they are in discussions to license Autopilot to another automaker, saying that, quote, "We are not trying to keep this to ourselves, we're more than happy to license it to others." And also this week, Musk and Tesla's board of executives have been ordered to pay back $735 million to the company after a court found that they, quote, "grossly overpaid themselves between 2017 and 2020. At this point, Elon is going through lawsuits like we're going through Friday Checkout episodes on this channel. And I mean, this is a weekly news show, so that's kind of impressive. And also this week, Pokemon Sleep is now available for everyone, a video game that you play while sleeping using your phone as a sleep tracker and competing with friends. It's available on iOS and Android, and finally, you can get rewarded for being a Snorlax. And to wrap up the brief, a report from Mark Gurman says that Apple is working on its own competitor to ChatGPT, and it is dubbed Apple GPT. Even though this is just a rumor and it will probably only come out maybe in 2024 with no clear feature set, Apple's stock actually jumped around 2.3% when we learned about it, so that article there was worth $70 billion. Kind of wild. Okay, and if just the rumor of an AI product could get all the Wall Street bros excited like that, then guess what a real, meaningful announcement could do today? Well, that's what my first story is going to be about. Microsoft has just announced CoPilot for enterprise customers, which is basically like ChatGPT, except it is also able to make presentations for you in PowerPoint and clean up your data in Excel and whatnot. The theory is that office workers could save lots of time using AI like this, but companies have often banned tools like ChatGPT internally because they didn't like employees feeding sensitive corporate information into them at random that those models would then learn from. But Microsoft's Copilot should have all the same data privacy settings as the rest of Office, so it could theoretically be ChatGPT that's actually allowed at work. And Microsoft has just confirmed that it would charge companies $30 per employee per month for Copilot. That is more than OpenAI's ChatGPT Plus, which costs $20 a month, and that is basically as much as a regular Office license for many companies, so Microsoft could basically double their revenues per user from those who sign up, and this could become a real cash cow for them. One report from a company called Macquarie Equity Research this week said that CoPilot could add roughly $14 billion to the company's top line in the first year if 10% of corporate users sign up for the product. And the thing is that if this actually improves employee productivity by even just an hour or two a month, then it is basically paid for itself, and so many companies are expected to sign up, and that means that this could theoretically become the first really large-scale, really well-monetized AI product out there. All of this has helped Microsoft's stock reach new all-time highs, and apparently this has almost made the CEO Satya Nadella a billionaire, so congratulations. Microsoft shares have surged nearly 900% since his first day in the top job, so that's a pretty impressive track record. Fun fact, the previous CEO, Steve Ballmer, who still owns a ton of Microsoft stock, saw his worth under Satya Nadella grow to $123 billion, despite being called the worst CEO of a Fortune 500 company ever. So that's some motivation for you. You can be terrible at your job and still become filthy rich. Good times. Okay, and for my second story of the week, Netflix is apparently making so much money from ads that it actually wants to kill its cheaper ad-free subscriptions. So this week Netflix reported earnings, and they basically announced two major points. First, apparently the password sharing crackdown is starting to work. This was partially responsible for bringing in 5.9 million new subscribers in the second quarter, and so Netflix will roll it out to even more new markets soon. And second, the company decided to remove its most affordable $10 a month ad-free basic tiers in the US and the UK, leaving the $15.49 a month package as their minimum ad-free tier. This follows a similar rollout in Canada earlier, and Netflix likely decided that the ad-supported tier at $7 was just so profitable that it wanted that to be the only option on the low end. As we've discussed before, Netflix makes almost $10 a month per user from just ads alone, so pushing more people into ads and cutting off the ad-free tiers on the low end sadly just makes a lot of sense and all the money. And with so much money flowing in, you can really see why actors and writers who are on strike right now want to get a bigger share of the pie. Okay, and for my third story of the week, if you thought that batteries were supposed to save us from climate change, it looks like they are getting blown up by climate change instead. The insane record temperatures being endured in many parts of the world over the last few days are apparently cooking our devices. In Sardinia and Italy, where temperatures clocked 150 degrees Fahrenheit, for example, lots of people are reporting that their phones are sending out warnings like temperature, iPhone needs to cool down before being used. And that is no surprise because Apple, for example, specifically says that iPhones and iPads should only be used between 0 and 35 degrees Celsius or 32 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and that using an iOS or iPadOS device in very hot conditions can permanently shorten battery life. But if the whole country is hotter than that for multiple days in a row, then good luck, your phone is most probably fried. And it's not just phones, it's also cars. The lead-acid batteries in both combustion engine cars and EVs are especially at risk because heat affects chemical processes even more than the cold does, and on top of that, EVs of course also have their main giant batteries to worry about as well. Even cars like Teslas, which can actively cool their batteries, have manuals saying that ambient temperatures above 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit should be avoided, which is actually pretty easy to exceed with a car that is baking in the sun, and it means that with these crazy temperatures, we will literally have to shelter our cars from the heat. That sounds like reason number 5000 to reduce our reliance on cars, in my opinion. Anyway, this means that engineers and scientists will have to come up with brand new ways to help us survive the hellscape that we're creating for ourselves, but if that sounds like a fun challenge to you, then maybe give Brilliant a try. Learning about batteries could start with classes like electricity and magnetism or the chemical reaction, but Brilliant actually covers a wide range of topics across science, engineering, maths, and computer science. Brilliant is the best online platform for learning STEM skills, and their special sauce is designing custom interactive courses to help you learn. So they take a complicated topic, they break that down into many smaller chunks so you can progress from beginner levels to advanced ones in little sprints, and they then make you practice what you've learned in each course with a practical practice exercise at the end. The interactivity is not just way more fun than simply reading a book or watching a video, it also switches your brain from a passive mode into an active participating mode, so you actually retain knowledge a lot better. Brilliant has thousands of lessons covering a ton of STEM topics, and new lessons get added every month, so whatever STEM skill it is that you want to get better at, they probably have you covered. You can get a 30-day free trial at brilliant.org/TFC, and the first 200 people who sign up using that link can also get 20% off their annual premium subscription. So check them out, happy learning, and I'll see you next Friday.